Hey there, what's up, everybody? What's going on? What's good? The Boxing Source here, checking in as we have a good amount of content to go through here today. Um, as we check in for the October 31st, 2021 edition of the Boxing Source radio show. I'm your host, James Bell, the leader of the Boxing Source on social media. We have pages through Instagram, Twitter, Facebook, and also have a YouTube channel. So that's all, what we got going on here as we have a lot to, kind of like go over, see if we could do that within the next, hour or 30 minutes or so in this particular episode. I was on site for the Beltway Battles event that happened at the Entertainment and Sports Arena in Washington, D.C. If you listen into the episodes from a couple of weeks ago, we did have um, the fighter that was involved in the main event, Cobia Soldier Breedy, along with his trainer, Coach Floyd Seymour, that did talk for a few moments in that episode. And we also had one of the promoters involved with the event from Mayweather Promotions, Derek Curry, who, manages um, Jaleel Major Hackett. And so we'll be going over the results of the fights that they were involved in and more in this particular podcast. Plus, we cover what happened on Saturday night as you had events through the top rank portion of the card that was in New York City that was broadcast on ESPN Plus, and then you also had fights over at the uh, over in Las Vegas, which was headlined by Jamal James against Razak Butaev with the co-featured bout of Jerron Boots Enos versus Thomas Delorme. So we're going to be, covering those particular battles and more in this episode. So you will kind of like get most of that here in this thing, and also wanted to cover the updates coming out of the December 5th event that's scheduled to happen over in Los Angeles. That is involving Gervonta Tank Davis and Rolando Rolly Romero. So we'll be covering that as well. And it's pretty much less than a week away from the undisputed super middleweight championship title bout between Saul Canelo Alvarez and Caleb Sweet Hands Plant. So we may touch on that a little bit as well in this particular episode. But going off of what had been happening over the past weekend. Like I said, I was on site at the entertainment and sports arena that was that's located in Washington D.C. Headlined by Cobia Soldier Breedy against Sulaiman Segawa. And that was for the WBC Continental Americas featherweight title. Of course, Kobe Breedy was there, coming in with a record of 15 wins, just the lone loss to um, King Tug. But now we're going to actually hear from the guy that was involved in the main event, checking in. Originally from Barbados, now residing in the Washington, D.C. area, man. It's the Soldier, always ready for war, man. What's going on, Soldier Breedy?
Man, what's good, man? Everything good, man. First of all, want to shout out my Barbados people from DMV, Rising Star Promotion, the WBC, everybody. They've been a part of Floor Coach Floyd, Derek, for making this happen, you know what I mean, for giving me the opportunity. And I'm here, man.
Yeah, I feel you, man. I feel you. I mean, you had this bout against Sulaiman Segawa.
Mm-hmm.
And I was there, man. Had a quick start. We were kind of like filling them out in the first round, but then you were able to like control the distance and pretty much like see most of what he was throwing out there. And he
Mm-hmm.
missed a lot of those shots in those first couple of rounds. You were catching him with a lot of counters,
Mm-hmm.
but it just was like a hard little break there. Within that third round is accidental clash of heads happened there. So
Mm-hmm.
kind of like go through that a little bit here real quick.
So we've been off for a year, so I was like really pumped up and excited for the fight. So you know, and then he's southpaw and coming out swinging wild and stuff. So I was just a little intense. I was ready for a war. You know what I'm saying? A soldier ready for a war. So my coach, just after the first round, I started later in the first round. I started to settle down a little bit, and then I started, getting my groove and just being smart, and I started picking them apart.
Yep, and that's pretty much was how things was going out there
Yeah,
until the referee had like came out to your corner at the end of the third round and kind of like explained the situation there. But I think that was like a real bad situation. But I wanted to add in your trainer here checking in from the gym. Looks like a little
Oh,
fumble
I'm
there.
good.
What happened?
I'm back, man. I'm back. How you doing?
Coach Floyd in the building, man. What's going on?
Hey, nothing much. How you doing? How's everybody doing out there?
Oh
Checking
man,
in.
everybody's all good. Everybody's all good, man. I was just talking about this thing here with Cobia, man. How he was adjusting after that first round, controlling the distance. Watching all the movements from Sulaiman Segawa, like backing up when he can, but just controlling the distance. And every time that Sulaiman was throwing a jab, he was pretty much like out of range. But when he like opened himself up with the right, with the right or whatever it was, like Cobia was able to pop him and then get himself, out of range and then out of the pocket. You know what I mean? So he was starting to get his groove, like he said, there before you got on there, Coach Floyd. And then, he had the bad break about, the thing with the accidental clash of heads. But, sometimes that happens when you have an orthodox against a southpaw, man.
Yep, and that's what happens. Man, this is the second time it happened to us too. Last time, because Kobe was fighting off southpaw when it happened. The last fight was for 3 fights ago. With this fight, I mean, like Kobe said, first round he's pumped. He was so pumped, and really is. I knew he was gonna come back, settle down, whatever, but he was
Yeah,
just pumped. And after the first round, I was like, okay, now we can, start going to work, or start seeing his flaws, what he's doing, what he's not doing,
mm-hmm.
and yeah, we was really setting our game plan. And here goes the accidental headbutt, and just when that happened, right out, I mean, we were just getting into the groove. And like I told you, I told everybody, when you step in the ring with a soldier, you go to war. I mean, you gotta stay close to the fight.
yep,
You gotta stay close to the TV. You gotta be
Yeah.
on point. If anything and
Listen, right,
everything's gonna happen, it's a fight, it's war.
man.
You know?
Floyd, man, man, you got people hitting me up and telling me from Barbados or ever, like, man, you should have just take it easy on them the first round.
Nah. I mean, yeah, that's the thing. Even when people try to understand, because they were saying, a lot of people was like, yo, we should let it, go to the fourth round and take it easy. Nah, we go to war. You
Mm-hmm.
never know what the guy has in his, in his back pocket. You never know what the guy's gonna bring to the table.
mm-hmm.
Let's say, I mean, let's say he took it easy for the first or second round, just feeling the guy out or whatever. Okay.
Yeah,
Third, fourth round come around, might be a headbutt. Now they go to the scorecard. We're down on the scorecard. We lose the fight. Why? Because you're taking it easy. Nah, we win every round. Every round is a fight. Every round is war. Every round, anything can happen. So,
exactly.
when you step in the ring with the soldier, you got to be prepared to, I mean, protect yourself at all times. First of all, I want to say, I hope Suleiman and his family, first, Suleiman is okay. Injured. We don't want to get injured in the ring. We don't want no headbutts. We don't want no falls. We just want everybody to come out safe and healthy.
Right.
So much respect to him and his family and his team. But on the other hand, once we step in the ring, anything can happen. It could have been on the other end of that headbutt. So
Right.
anything
I
can
want
happen.
and I want him to get better or help because if they want to go to war, we can go to war.
Oh,
Because
so and that's what he's saying. The rematch.
Yeah.
Rematch. February is the next event that I think Star Promotion is going to be hosting. So yes, rematch. It's on. We need a rematch, and if he don't want to take a rematch, we just got to go after somebody else for the title because the belt is Kobe's. We're going after the belt. That's all said and done. That's
so,
boom. Right.
and if he do rematch me, the first round he showed me everything. He showed me. Look,
Yeah.
like I 7 stars. The first round he showed me everything he got, and I was like, that's it. So if you want a rematch, it's gonna be butter for me. So Soldier ready to go to war. But if not, we get somebody else. No matter.
Yeah, yeah. It was, just disappointing because you were looking forward to the bout. Like I said, I mean, it was gonna be for that WBC Continental America's title, and you were pretty much like in the groove. Like, I mean, I was with you there after the fight. You were like, man, you didn't even barely break a sweat out there. You know what I'm saying? So it was like,
And it was crazy. It was crazy because really, this was our night to show the world
Mm-hmm.
what the soldier made of. Show the
yeah,
world what the soldier can do. It was kind of disappointing that we weren't able to, to take it all away and bring the title back. But things happen when you go to war. Things happen. That's why the mentality, once you step in the ring, it's like all hands on deck. Anything can happen. You got to
hmm
be prepared for every and anything.
Mm-hmm.
yeah, and that
Right.
was the thing that you kind of like, was telling Cobia there in between rounds in the second, before the second and third rounds is that you kind of look to see what Sulaiman was doing, but it just looked like he was just standing there a whole lot of times and didn't really get his range down. When it came to throwing his jab, his right jab. So Kobe was just, like saying, okay, you're going to stay out there. All right, cool. I'm going to just sit here in the pocket, wait for you. And then once you throw that jab, I'm going to come right back with the right hand. Boom. And then,
Yep.
and then get out of the pocket. And that was pretty much, most of what you were doing there because you were controlling the pace, moving around
Yeah.
the ring well and all of that.
Cause you like, of course, Floyd said I got 7 stars. I could box you. I could go Toro, and the difference. Like I'm gonna tell you this, right? King Tug was my hardest pro fight, hands down. And look what I did with that, right? When I'm fighting somebody and I'm fencing them, southpaw, off road, no matter, and they backing up, and I got them like each inching back, and they actually fighting me off of them. You're not winning. See, we got 10 rounds. We got 10 rounds to go to war.
10 rounds, man.
Yep.
You know
If
what?
Yeah.
you wait, if you backing up, I
Mm-hmm.
go to war. I going to
Yeah, we're
if
going to go.
coming forward at me, I'm boxing you like Muhammad Ali. You know what I'm saying? So, and I already showed that with King Tug. You know what I mean? If the tour ain't working, the boxing, the Matador gonna work. If the Matador ain't work, the tour one of them gonna work. Trust me, one of them gonna work. I definitely don't want the tour to work. Not in the
Yeah.
first round. You know what I'm
You don't
saying?
want it to work. And really, you didn't. And the thing about it is, people are saying to calm down, like you should have maybe calmed it down. We wasn't even straight up aggressive. That was not even our Toro aggressive style.
The
Shit.
courses.
I know Kobe is still attacking, but it wasn't like he could attack much harder than that if he wanted to. In other words, the whole thing is it's unfortunate, man. It's unfortunate. Things happen in boxing. Things happen when you go to war, and that's all we gotta say. Whenever you step in
Hey,
the ring, I told you gotta go be ready to go to war.
Word.
hey, this fight might make me a very different soldier. I'm so serious. Because, man, I swear to God, I feel like I want a rematch just because I just want to destroy this kid. Like, destroy and move on. Because I don't want to leave. I really want to rematch. I don't want to leave nothing about there, about me sparring me back and forth. all
Yeah.
that. Yeah, fuck rematch me.
Yeah,
And we
you
can
know
run it.
what? There were some allegations too. I mean, yo, I don't know if you heard about it, James, but they were saying we sparred. There was some bad blood about the camps. We worked together back in the day. We've never worked with this kid.
Mm.
We worked with a lot of guys, but you know what? I mean, this is a hype. They were hyping it up. You
Yeah.
know, they were
Yeah.
hyping it.
Yeah, I mean, given that both Kobe and Suleiman are like kind of like based a few miles from each other, that maybe they could have crossed paths as far as like
Yeah,
sparring, but yeah,
we
that
crossed
never,
paths with a lot
that
of
never
guys,
happened.
a lot of different African guys. I cannot remember working with him, but it doesn't matter. I mean, he can get it. Anybody can get it.
Come on.
you know.
Hurry up and get better. Let's get it. I don't want no
Yeah,
talk.
man.
No talk.
Yeah, that scene was a pretty wild scene there, man. I mean, you had you had a good amount of supporters from both sides, for the
Yeah,
soldier out there and for Suleiman. Like I said,
I
I
was
mean, it
pretty
was a
hyped.
good
Yeah,
local
Look,
battle, in
and
there.
yeah.
I love that. I love like everybody say, yeah, I was the favorite to win, but I felt I was the underdog, man. Just like when we went, just like when
So
we
he
went,
had a lot of people there. He had a lot of supporters.
yeah,
Yeah.
just like when we went to New York when we fought King Titus Williams and he had all the people screaming. I love that. Wanna wait? That made me. That pumped me up. That made me like, whew. Just saying, man.
Yeah, sometimes being the road like a road warrior of sorts, like you don't really have that much pressure. All you got to do is just do your thing, man. The more of the pressure's on them when it's kind of like it's in their hometown or whatever it is. So, but
You know
yeah,
what we call
like
it?
you were saying, Kobe, like you're ready to get back in the ring with them, ASAP, because like
Yeah.
you said, man, you were like in a groove and you were just about to get working.
And I keep watching the tape over and over. I just rewatched the tape and the headbutt. That's on his behalf. He came in, he lunged in. I was throwing a body shot. He ran in, he came in while I was trying to do my punch. That's on him. So he need to figure out his stuff. And no matter what he try to figure out, we ready.
Call it. You know what we call it? Unfinished business.
Yeah.
So
Never
rematch.
business, never.
Rematch is hopefully in February. We'll talk to the promoters. We'll talk to Derek, co-manager, and unfinished business, man. That's all it is. Unfinished business.
Yeah, yeah,
How do you like it?
yeah, I know that. Yeah, Derek was, talking with some of the representatives from the WBC to, try to keep the thing where this could be, restarted or whatever it is. See like how the condition of the cut is for Sulaiman Segawa, so that once he gets cleared and everything like that, then it could be back in the camp and he could just redo this fight.
We do it. Unfinished business, man. Unfinished business. We got some business that we got to take care of. We got to finish up, and that's all it is.
Mhm.
For the crowd, for the fans. I mean, all of the fans were hyped.
One thing about the soldier, right? The soldier is a silent killer, right? The soldier go to war. I don't be on Instagram posting and shit. Listen to me, as a true soldier, and I realize all this about my opponents, whoever I fought. They like to post little snippets, right? About, yeah, man, you would have get him. But listen, right? We know the truth. We got the whole 2 minutes of me he getting us ass whooped and 10 rounds. This I guarantee you, right? From watching this tape, I was telling Floyd this fight was not going 12 rounds. 12, I mean 10. It wasn't going 12.
Yeah.
No,
I
not
mean, I knew it wasn't. I mean,
Yeah.
thing about it too is like the first round. Both guys got straight up all their energy. You know, he was fighting a lot on the defensive. Kobe's pressing him. Second round, he's coming back and was in between the groove. Trying not to get trapped on the ropes. Because you saw when Kobe flipped off the ropes, and when they throw the body punch and then their head collided. But the thing about it is, we're just getting in our groove because
Right.
we're standing up in the corner in the second round. Our job is like, man, I don't even want you to sit down
just
because
just remember this. It's a reason. It's a reason. It's the reason why King Tug don't want to rematch me. If King Tug, if because people was pressing, if King Tug feel like, man, this is a little something lingering, but let's do it back. He wouldn't accept. He ain't accept. So Suleiman want to rematch me. He crazy.
let's go.
Yeah,
Let's have
that's the thing, man. I mean, after that fight with King Tug, a lot of people wanted to see that ran back, and it wasn't,
they want a
ever
rematch.
revisited.
Man,
King
And
Tug the rematch.
and on top of that, like it's crazy that King Tug ended up being in his next fight at, a higher weight class going up against Chris Colbert.
For
exactly
whatever
right.
reason, I have no idea why he did it, but maybe money, maybe he needs some Christmas money or something. But that was
Man,
crazy. But he can do his thing. All I'm saying right now is, yo, we're coming for this WBC Continental title. We're getting that title. We're going after some more titles, and that's just the way it is. It's time. It's just title time. Unfortunate the fans didn't get to see the whole show. The show got cut short because of a headbutt. The show must go on. Unfinished business must happen, and that's the way it is. It's unfinished business, man.
Yeah. And even with when I was talking with y'all a couple weeks ago, and I was saying like, okay, this is going to be a fight like, about 13 months after, his last pro fight, but like Soldier was saying then, I mean, I'm always in the gym, I always, be ready, stay ready, so I don't have to get ready. And
right.
once he stepped in the ring, you saw that he was pretty much, right there in ring shape and doing the things in the ring like he was doing, when it was, active and everything like that. So
Yeah,
that, kind of like attributes to, having that preparation, you know, 365 days of the year,
Mhm.
regardless, because you
And,
never know when that call comes.
and me, if I do get the rematch, like man, it just like I want it because I want it so bad. Floyd over no man. Oh, that's about the what for the money likes.
yeah. It's been kind of difficult 2 days
Yeah,
after the fight
Yeah.
because it's like right now the title's supposed to be home. He's supposed to have the title around his waist, but it's like it got snuck away, man. It's like when you go to a show and the show somebody happened, the lights or something went off or the power went off, so the show couldn't happen. So you gotta wait another 2 months for the show. So the show must go on. I mean,
yeah, and,
like I
and
said, wish Sulaiman a speedy recovery,
mm-hmm.
please recovery. And once he's done with that speedy recovery, let's do this rematch.
Yeah, and I hope he bring more people here. All the Africans bring all of them so they can love me more. Like when if
He's stupid.
if I even gonna call you, I will call you. I don't mind. I
Yeah.
don't call people, but he clap. They say one rematch, clap.
Yeah,
I,
yeah, they did bring a lot of supporters out
They
there,
got a lot of
from
support.
like, African supporters. He had like supporters coming from the gym that he was, out there, and all the
Yeah, because
and
he's
all
a
that
trainer.
people around there. Yeah,
A lot
yeah.
of people.
yeah,
And hey, it still didn't matter, man. Like he really didn't seem like he had that much, because what I was seeing there live was that, once he got hit with the speed and power of Breedy, like his whole like attitude changed as
he
far as
stopped
like being
jabbing.
aggressive.
He stopped
Yeah,
jabbing.
yeah, yeah, yeah. Because he was trying to go in and try to come forward and jab, but then once he got hit with the counter, it was like, whoa, wait, hold on a second. I might have to think twice about coming forward like that. But like y'all was saying, I mean, even if he tried to switch up, you still have another style that's out there ready for him. You
Man,
know what I mean?
I ain't even get to go for one yet, killer.
Yeah,
7 forms, 7 styles, man.
I
He didn't even do his first style.
I I ain't even get to use my Joe Fraser on him because my when we say 7 styles is important, it's
hmm
really important because it's like just having other ways to figure this. You got 10 rounds to figure out which way to go, and he's southpaw, and like what I'm saying, he's trying to
You know
figure
what?
it out.
You know what, Cobia? What it is this, honestly. The next time we fight him, we going straight southpaw. Make sure no headbutt.
Man,
Make sure you get headbutt. Then
uh,
we might switch it. We might switch it after the fourth round or third round,
yeah,
So he can don't worry about no more headbutts. We can fix that.
yeah, we can fix that. We go southpaw
We can
for
fix
for
because that most southpaws they don't headbutt. Two orthodox really rarely headbutt, right?
hmm
Southpaw and orthodox fight, that's a headbutt.
yeah,
But because we have 7 styles, really 8, 9, 10, Kobe will fight him in southpaw. We'll fight him a different time.
Yeah, you can fight him southpaw, but but even with the thing with orthodoxy, him coming in southpaw, the thing was like Cobia already had the positioning because like you can see the foot position where he could get there on the outside and then time him right so that anytime like Cobia catches him, he could like either step out of the pocket or just step forward and then kind of like get him. You know what I mean?
And not only that, I mean, he was starting to catch it with a right hand. I mean, if you notice, Kobe got him with about a few right hands and uppercuts.
It's all time coming in because he coming.
Yeah. Yep. And so it was like, man, I kind of like was kind of like disappointed after the fight, man. I was talking with some folks there after the fight. I ran into Cyrus, Cyrus C, man. And it said like like over in his corner, it seemed like they didn't really do nothing with the cut anyway. No Vaseline, nothing to try to stop it or whatever.
I know the doctors, right? Could stop a fight, right? But a true warrior and a true soldier, you don't give a damn. I fought with one eye closed. The doctor called me when I fought King Tug. My eye was closed. I said, "What? No, I open it up." Just for the war.
Okay. But here's something. Here's something that I think even in boxing that people don't even really realize. The bell rings. You go to the corner, right? You have a cut man looking over the cut. Mm-hmm. His job is to close it up, right? Mm-hmm. Once you close it up, the bell rings. You go back out. The referee stops it. Then supposed to call the doctor to look at the cut. Mm-hmm. Then if it's not closed up properly, they stop it. They went to the corner and just stopped the fight. They didn't even give their cut man, because they probably ain't had no cut man, time to close up the cut.
The commentators even said, the commentators even said they didn't give the dude a minute to work on the corner. Like the thing.
They give no time to work on the cut.
Like when I
think about it, James. You realize that?
Hey Floyd, what you know? Remember when I fought King Tug, right? And my eye was swollen up. They work on my eye. Then we went to the doctor, and the doctor was like, "Well, you could go." You know what I mean? The round finish. You know what I mean? Work it out, but
nah, they didn't do that.
And the reason is he gets hit, and we're gonna run it back.
I mean, like initially after they had the thing after the head clash, he went to the corner, and all he did was like pretty much like wipe him down, in the pause, and then when they like suspended it, for them to look at the cut, and it looked like he put like a towel and they rubbed it or whatever it was, and then they commenced to go through the rest of that round, and then when he came back, they really didn't do much of anything because like you didn't see no like thing where they could put Vaseline or try to close it up or anything like that, and then they just said, you know what, we're gonna say nah, we ain't gonna bring him back out there. But it's crazy because like you said, I mean, Soldier was out there with a closed eye against King Tug. Of course, like people know about what happened with Tyson Fury and Otto Walling, and there's been like other instances, where people have gone, multiple rounds with the back cut. I mean, what was it way back in the day? Vitaly Klitschko against Lennox Lewis. Yeah,
Lennox Lewis. It's a title fight.
Yeah,
it's only the second round. Come on, I mean, let's go. It's a title fight. It's not just two guys having their first fight in the ring. I know the job is to protect each other, to protect everyone. But the smart thing is, you let the corner work on whatever cut it is in the corner. Let them come out. Then if the referee and the doctor want to see it, then not just you go in the corner, you shaking your head, you don't want to go no more. I mean, come on.
Yeah.
But hey, that's how the ball rolls. And like I said one more time, once we go in the ring, we go into war. Tell you, don't get no popcorns, don't go get no hot dogs, sit in your seat. Once we play the Bayesian music, get ready to go to war.
And like I said, he showed me all he got. I already see whatever he think he got. So let's run it back. We're gonna see how really they want, how they really want it.
Yeah, I mean, I know you definitely want to run it back with him. It's just that we gotta see if his camp wants to, go through the same thing again. and like you said, I mean, if it's it's their schedule for February, let's see if they schedule it for February. You got like about maybe about a month or 6 weeks to kind of like for them to evaluate what's up with that eye, and then if they say it's all clear, then yeah, they could just like you said, run it back in February or something like that.
Mm-hmm.
Yep, and that's where we at.
Yeah,
Mm-hmm.
man.
So I want to thank all the fans. So listen, really, really, what I want to do, I want to thank all the fans for coming. I want to thank his fans for coming. I want to thank all of our fans, in the U.S., Caribbean islands, Barbados, Bahamas. Guys supporting the soldier. Keep supporting the soldier. My name, Coach Floyd, me and Derek. Thank the promoters, Rising Suns Promotion. Thank Millions putting it on the air. Just want to thank everybody for making this all possible, man.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I mean, you had
Thank
like
you
you
for the
said,
tour.
man,
Thank you for the
Rising
tour. Thank
Star.
you guys too.
Yeah, thanks for the
Oh yeah, no doubt, no doubt, no doubt, man. I mean, you had like a great little presentation there. Over at the Entertainment and Sports Arena in Washington D.C. Led by Rising Star Promotions. Of course, you had our guy there, Derek Curry, from Mayweather Promotions out there. That was their ringside, which as well. So he's seen firsthand about what was going down too. So. Like overall, it was a great scene to have there in the the local DC area. It's just that that was just a really tough situation. What happened there, But like you said, you definitely ready to run it back, because like Soldier was saying there, man. Like he said, man, I'm ready to go out there for another fight.
Yeah. I'm still at weight.
But like we said, man, once you go to war, anything can happen in war. Just be ready. Just be ready.
Exactly, man. But big thanks for Cobia, Soldier, Breedy, and his trainer, Coach Floyd Seymour, for coming in here to talk about what went down on Friday night, and we definitely would look forward to seeing you. Let's say February, man. February is next up.
Hey, but listen. Also, I forgot. Spend good shout out to my man, Jaleel Hackett. He did his thing too, man. Nice 2-0, making a rise, man. That's our man, Jaleel Hackett. Keep making it happen, big guys.
Oh yeah, no doubt.
That's your shout out to my man.
Yep. It's all right there, man. Like I said, thanks for joining us here, man, and we'll catch y'all later, man.
Appreciate it. All right, Kobe, hold on, Kobe. You have any special shout out real quick?
I already did my shout out. Well, shout out my people from DMV. Shout out my man for promotion. Shout out for everybody that came out and support me. People from Barbados, the government, everybody supported me. I want to give you all a shout out and thanks. And thanks to Source for giving me this interview. Shout out to him.
Also the group that's singing the national anthem from Barbados.
Sister Rashawn and her group coming out and singing the Barbados national anthem. My guy Kenny from the gym that came out and sang the American national anthem. And I also want to give a shout out to my little brother for doing good things at the World Games. He going to the second round. He in the medal round. Want to make it happen. Want to shout him out. The Breedy's on that. The Breedy's about to make history. The Breedy's about to make this money. Let's go.
That's what I'm talking about. All
right.
All right. Big thanks to y'all, man. Check y'all later.
Woo.
All right.
Yeah, man. So that's what's up, man. The definitely the team there of Cobia, Soldier, Breedy, and Coach Floyd Seymour. Thank them once again for checking in as they were, part of that Beltway Battles card that was in Washington, D.C. on Friday night. And like I said, I mean, it was a tough little break there for him as, he was, definitely putting in work against Sulaiman Segawa there for those first few rounds. But, cut that was suffered, on the eye of Sulaiman Segawa forced the fight to be, put to a halt. And it ended up being a technical no decision there. So they're going to see about running that back since it was like a title fight, WBC Continental America's featherweight title. And you just see if Sulaiman Segawa would be cleared, after, about a couple weeks or a few weeks or so. Probably gonna get stitched up or whatever it is, and then see if they heal in time for them to schedule another bout between the two. So we're definitely going to see what happens with that. Also, as mentioned by Coach Floyd Seymour, you had Jaleel Major Hackett that opened the main card there for Beltway battles. That was like around a little bit after 9 p.m. Eastern time when they did that. And he was going up against Latori Woodbury. Latori Woodbury had about 14 pro fights. Was there with the record of 2 wins, 10 losses, and 2 draws. Jaleel Major Hackett, of course, had his first professional fight in Miami as part of that Mayweather Paul card that was there during the summer. And he had a first round knockout then. And here he had another first round knockout over Latori Woodbury. It was pretty much a thing where he went to the body and Latori Woodbury just couldn't really take those shots to the body. Ended up being a pretty much a TKO, 3 knockdowns scored before the referee had put a stop to that bout there with like it was about like around a minute left or so. But Jaleel Hackey was able to perform in front of his hometown there in Washington D.C. He's from Washington D.C. So big ups to him, big ups to his father and trainer there, Bernard Hackett. Who I also talked with for a little bit over there, but I do have like a small interview with Jaleel Hackett after his win over Latori Woodbury that is available on the YouTube page. So you could definitely check that out. You also had guys coming from the Baltimore area that did kind of like show out, including Dominique Crowder, who scored a knockout victory over Ira Terry. You also had thing there with Christopher Arnold that did score, pretty much like a first round knockout victory over Cherrick Maven. Malik Titus scored a first round knockout victory over Jacob Hadler. But in the co-feature to Beltway battles, as you did have the long-standing veteran, former world champion DeMarcus Chop Chop Corley there, as he went and he was like involved in his 86th professional fight. 86, 86 pro fights for DeMarcus Chop Chop Corley. And he went through 8 rounds with Linwood Dozier and, scored a unanimous decision victory over Linwood Dozier to, have himself 52 professional wins, 52 of them. And he did also say after that bout that for the next event that they have in DC, that he wants to step in the ring with Jaleel Major Hackett. So you might see Chop Chop Corley in there with Jaleel Major Hackett sometime real soon. So that's definitely something to like kind of see there as that Chop is from Washington D.C. and you have of course a young signee for Mayweather Promotions, Jaleel Major Hackett from Washington D.C. himself. So definitely going to be looking out for that sometime soon. But with that, we got like more content or news as we did have action that did take place on Saturday. I might like go over what happened over in the UK or maybe not, depends. But I wanted to focus on what happened over in Las Vegas, or as I say, Las Vegas, Nevada, as you had, of course, people looking forward to what was going to happen with Jerron Boots Ennis in his fight against Thomas Delorme. He had come into the bout with 27 wins, zero losses, and 25 knockouts. But then he had this fight against Thomas Delorme. But want to bring in a guest here that wants to chime in on the boxing action. Shout out to Box Learner in the building. What's happening with you?
Nothing much. I just saw that you went live.
Yeah, man. I had my guy Cobia Soldier Breedy, who had his fight last year against Tusak Bayar. Had a very close fight with him, and then he had just came off of a fight on Friday night, but it ended up being like a no decision because of accident on head. But they want to definitely run it back again because it would be for a version of a WBC title. So they definitely want to see if they can get back in on February. But wanted to jump in this thing here with what happened in Las Vegas, man. Jerron Bucinas against Thomas Lorme, and man, that was just quick work, man. It was easy. It looked like easy work for Bucinas, and he scored two knockdowns. First one, he pretty much caught Delorme with the right hand while Delorme was ducking down, and Delorme went down to the canvas. He got up, but then he Boots did get caught with a couple of shots after that knockdown, but then came back with the left combination to put Delorme down once again, and Delorme just didn't get up after that. And so that's another knockout victory there for Jerron Bucinas. 26 knockouts in 28 fights. That's one of the highest higher KO ratios out there in the sport of boxing there, man.
Yeah, that's true. But, they saying that they said he wants to fight Spence next. I think if they should do that with the number one in the IBF, who's the Cujo guy.
Yeah.
And have them fight since Porter already is about to fight Crawford. And if he can beat that guy, then he should be able to fight Spence.
Yeah.
But that guy's been Errol's mandatory for a while, though.
Cujo, yeah. They've been putting him on ice for a good little bit there, man. Good little bit. Also joining in the conversation is my man Mike G. Man, Mike, you should be over at the Braves game, man. They about to clinch. I think they about to win. Hold on. Let me see something. Unless the Astros are cheating again. I'm surprised he ain't out there in the stadium, man. It's about to be rocking if they get themselves another win here. So yeah, that thing about to jump off. What's up, Mike?
Not much. Yeah, man. I was out of town this weekend, so that does sound like a good idea. Putting COVID aside, but yeah, I'm just kind of tired, so I'm chilling out with you, man.
Yeah, I feel you, man. What you think about this thing from Boots Ennis, man? Before I get something here from what Delorme's team is going to do.
I mean, speed kills. Speed kills, and then when you have someone who has speed and intelligence, that's tough to beat. When you saw him throwing the punches, he was throwing shots to sort of set up other shots, and quite naturally it didn't last long. But he was doing things to test Delorme's reaction, and he was very responsive early. And then I think Delorme thought he was gonna throw a jab like he was doing, and then he did one of them Golovkin type hooks, and it hit him closer to the top of the head, right?
Yeah, it was pretty much like around his ear near the top of his head or whatnot. Like people are, kind of like try to maneuver it like it was behind the head or whatever it is, but that's more of like, what Delorme was doing was he was trying to duck down below the punch, but it just ended up to where he just got hit pretty flush on that joint, man.
Yeah, and then like once I just started thinking about it, every shot that he was throwing, that what's his name was throwing, that wasn't like wild and rushed, he was landing on those shots. When I looked at the first time when I saw like the eventual like second knockdown where he hurt him and he landed all 3 or 4 of those punches, I was like, dang. And they was all speedy, which converted to power. I was just like, man, it would have been great to see it go a little bit longer, to see him put on a show and show off his skills. But yeah, I agree with Boxing Learner. I don't know how the number one guy in the IBF is. I haven't watched him myself, but I think before Spence would even consider giving him an audience, I know it's not Spence's call, but yeah, they should make him go against like one of the top 2 or 3 in whatever division that he ranked in, whatever belt or whatever that he ranked in.
Mm-hmm.
So I think that's a good idea. But yeah, the man's talented. Yeah, he's talented. I mean, it'd be interesting to see when he does face adversity how he responds. I know he had a fight where I think he got caught in one of his earlier fights, if I recall. It was either him or Fulton got caught, but yeah, I think he responded pretty well. One of his fights, he had sort of like a lackluster coming out, but then after that, he just went back to business.
Yeah, I mean, it's like for me, I thought it was going to be some sort of a mismatch or whatever it was. Given that Delorme had been part of the card, again where Boots had his last win against Sergey Lipinets. He ended up losing a fight against Iman Stanionis, who is now kind of like set up the face of Yordenis Ugas for Ugas's WBA title. But he lost to Stanionis, he lost to Jamal James, who was part of this card that happened on Saturday. But when I was talking with you know Boots's coach, his father Bozienis, like they've been saying for a while, like it's kind of like tough for them to match up Boots against these guys that are ranked higher than them. It's like high risk, low reward, and that his standing in these rankings, whether it's the IBF, WBA, or WBO or whatever, like a lot of those guys seem like they are passing on fighting Boots in this, and maybe with that thing with Kujatio, like maybe they tried to set something up with them, but it just didn't happen because maybe they just felt like they didn't want to lose that spot, so I'm like, what else is there gonna be, for Boots in this after this? Because like I think like you said, Boxing Learner, with Crawford facing Porter, like that number 2 spot's gonna end up being vacant regardless. So they're gonna have to do something as far as like, hey, where are they gonna position Boots in this to kind of like fight these other guys? Even though Boots did say after the fight that he does want to go after Errol Spence. I know that he named all the top guys that out there, the Crawfords, the Thurmans, and all of that. But he said like, "Hey, I'm ranked, high in the IBF, so let's go for Errol Spence." And it's funny because Abdul Kakarov is there at number 1, and he fought like back in March, but they haven't had anything else for him since. And so it's like going to be interesting what they're going to do going into next year, as if Errol Spence is not able to get the fight against Yordenis Ugas for those belts, then are they going to try to honor that mandatory?
They should. They should. Spence hasn't fought a mandatory in a while.
Yeah. I mean, shoot, like I think it was what back in 18 or something like that, where he had the fight in Texas. Well, that wasn't Dallas, that was Frisco. You know, where he just washed that guy in like one round. Yeah, 2018 against Carlos Ocampo. So, like, he's fought, Mike Garcia in a voluntary defense, and then Sean Porter in the unification, and then Danny Garcia. So it was going to be Manny Pacquiao, but that kind of like fell through. Um, so that was like, okay, if he doesn't fight Ugas, then what's going to be his next option? That's the thing I'm looking for, because like everybody's talking about, oh, now Boots is trying to have a beeline for Errol Spence, but who knows if Errol Spence will try to go after that, even though he said like when he comes back he wants no tune-ups. But I think he's more of like trying to say, okay, is he gonna go after Ugas or maybe the Crawford Porter winner, and then after that probably move up, because his plan was to try to get about a couple more fights in to see about getting undisputed at welterweight and then move up to 154. But with this, the injury that took him out of the Pacquiao fight, and now he's going to be inactive for over a year. It's going to be once he gets back into the ring. So what's going to be out there for him if he doesn't get your Dennis Ugas? Is he going to go after the Crawford Porter winner?
I mean, he could fight Keith Thurman. That's Ugas, Thurman, Crawford Porter. Them the only people that, if I was his team, I would be interested in him fighting. And the only reason why I would be interested in him fighting Ugas is because Ugas has a title.
Yeah. Yep, that's the thing about
Boots
it.
is
That's the
nice,
only
but
thing. That's like for many people who think that your Dennis Ugas like holding the title is the only thing that like kind of like brings him into the fight against Errol Spence. If Ugas didn't have the title, then I don't think Spence would be interested in it. Like if he didn't necessarily have that belt, that kind of like would have kind of like just said, hey, Ugas is just another guy that's there in the welterweight division. So what's the point of me fighting him? I really wouldn't get much out of fighting him from a financial standpoint. People would be more interested in me. If I was Errol Spence, they'd be interested in either a Porter rematch or against Terrence Crawford or against Keith Thurman. Like you were saying, Mike, those are pretty much the three best options there at welterweight for Errol Spence. And with him having these injuries and these setbacks, it might be a little bit tougher for him to try to get down to 147 at this point too. That's one thing to kind of like consider, is maybe he doesn't really have that much longer to get down to 147 before he says, hey, I'm gonna have to go up to 154.
I think Ugas is probably out of the highest ranked guys. He probably the most one who would be prone to fight Boots Ennis. Just because of the stature in comparison to the rest of the guys. I don't think he would like it, but I think he would probably be the one who's most prone to fight Boots.
Yeah, I would think so. Yeah, just see if they would try to get that fight going if he still has to go commit to the thing for the WBA, which I'll talk about here. But yeah, that could be a possible option there for your Dennis Ugas. But he does have this, like I said, he does have that ordeal with the WBA, which the main event over there in Las Vegas was part of, with the thing with Jamal James against Raza Butaev, and man, and I'll admit it, I wasn't really kind of like looking forward to this particular bout between these two guys. But for those first 4 or 5 rounds or so, those guys were getting at it. You had Jamal James. He was mixing up a little bit with the jabs and a couple power shots and landing a few uppercuts there once Butaev was getting close to him, but Butaev was just coming forward, and taking all of those shots. And by the time he got in range, he was going to work on Jamal James with a lot of body shots, then coming upstairs. And after about six rounds or so, you kind of like things started to shift over there towards Butaev, because when I was looking at it live, I was like, yeah, Jamal James is like landing a good amount of shots on Butaev, but there had been nothing that Jamal James was throwing that had really affected Butaev in him moving forward. And so if he couldn't do much of anything, then the tide was going to change in Butaev's favor. And while Butaev was just like going to work in those last couple of rounds, in the seventh and eighth round, he pretty much had the momentum going into the ninth. And after about a little bit of a combination, the referee Celestino Ruiz stepped in and stopped the bout, uh, giving Butaev a TKO win. Even though it didn't really seem like Jamal James was in that much trouble, but it just like looked like Butaev was about to really get himself in the gear. And now you got Butaev with that WBA regular title, and he's there at like 14-0, and he awaits the winner of Yordenis Ugas versus Imanas Stanionis there, so they potentially could consolidate that WBA title. But it was a good performance there by Raza Butaev, and Jamal James just looked like he couldn't really do much to affect Butaev over the course of those rounds. He was fighting very good, but it was just that nothing he was throwing was really affecting Butaev in there, man. Like he had no type of power whatsoever to keep Butaev honest or anything like that. What were y'all thoughts about that fight?
Well, I only saw some of the highlights, but from what it seems like, from what you say, it seems like the highlights pretty much are what happened in the fight. You know, Jamal James started out real strong. His jab was working real good for him. He was catching Butaev with some shots, and he there was one where he landed like three uppercuts. And after that, Butaev started going to the body. And you could tell that he was physically hurt, and there were some low blows in there, a couple of low blows, but mainly to the body. He was really hurting to the body, and he started throwing these weird combinations that really caught Jamal off guard. And after that, Jamal just seemed to get tired, and and then the guy should start going to work on him. And then when they stopped the fight, he looked tired to me, and I think he was bleeding, so I was okay with it. And it seemed I was looking at the crowd, and a lot of people look. It seemed like it was mixed. A couple of people were very happy that the fight was stopped, and some people were not happy.
Yeah, I mean, like Jamal James did look a little bit exhausted there, but yeah, it was just that it didn't look like he was seriously hurt. But he just looked very, very tired in there. And Butaev just didn't look like he was ready to stop anytime soon, or almost probably not at all. So it was just that the referee, I guess, kind of like looked at Jamal James and just saw like him getting, I guess, beat up a little bit too much to his liking, and so Celestino Ruiz just stepped in and put a stop to that bout. And so now Butaev moves forward, and I guess he'll see what happens. You know, with your Dennis Ugas. If he doesn't end up fighting Errol Spence with the unified titles on the line, then Ugas will end up fighting Stanionis. Well, according to the WBA, that's what they want.
Yeah,
And so,
I think that's stupid. That should be Virgil versus you didn't sue guys because Virgil has a version of the WBA title, the gold title, I believe.
I think they abolished all of those gold titles. Like
Yeah.
they abolished the gold title, they abolished the interim title, and they really didn't kind of like make a decision on the thing for the gold title, if I'm not mistaken, for those that were holding that gold title in those divisions, whether they would go against the world champion or the super champion or anything like that. They just abolished it and just did away with it and said, oh well, yeah, it was just one of those titles. But yeah, the thing with Virgil Ortiz is, given his situation, he's kind of sitting really good in the rankings there for 147 pounds too. So he does like have a good amount of options. But we might see something there next for Virgil Ortiz. But
Yeah.
big win for Raja Butaev there
Yep.
for him to move forward though.
Yep. I think he was in a fight with this guy named Putin. He had
Yeah.
lost,
Yep.
but the guy had popped hot, so they made the fight a no contest. So
Yep.
he was back to being undefeated.
Yep. Yeah, because he had lost, by unanimous decision initially, but then they just took it back because the whole dirty test there by this Putin. But I want to bring in another guest in the building. You know him, I know him. The whole world knows who he is. The man, the myth, the legend, the former president of the Deontay Wilder fan club, Mr. Matthew Brown, is in the building from the Boogie Down Bronx. What's up?
Yo, these intros are starting to get better and better every week, man. I feel welcomed on this show.
Notice he said former. He,
Yeah,
he
I
gave
know.
you he gave
Listen,
you the best intro when he said former.
that is true. That is true. It's almost as if he just so happy that that Wilder lost and I lost. But I got news for you, JR. When Wilder lost, we all lost. America lost. Okay. Africa lost. Okay.
We all shed a tear,
Yes.
man.
Yes. Yes. I still shed a tear every day for my brother, the Bronze Bomber, Deontay
To
Wilder.
this day.
But what do you guys been talking about so far, man? I ain't get a chance to listen in yet because had my daughter's birthday party.
Yeah.
And then I had like a work emergency that I had to rush down here to work. And now I'm ending the night at the bar. So
Oh, here we go. Once again to the bar.
yeah, man, the snow bunny crisis of 2021 continues.
What's the crisis? What's the crisis?
I'm getting addicted.
Hey, don't ride that white horse.
Oh no, come on, man. No.
I'm messing with you.
Oh man, we started off here with the thing for what happened in Las Vegas with Boots blowing out Delorme, and then the thing with Jamal James just getting broken down by
Pootie
Butaev.
Tang.
Yeah, Shango.
Dirty D whooped
What
his
y'all call him,
ass.
Booty Tang?
Yeah, Dirty D whooped his ass, man. Oh man.
Did he come in there with a Khabib wig?
Yeah.
Oh, I'm gonna be in the city that finally wins something. I left Tampa Bay and they started winning.
Hey man, be like that sometimes. That must mean that you're the black cloud.
I'm the what?
You're the black cloud.
I don't know what that is.
You're a loser. You've
Oh
been
no.
losing wherever you go.
Oh no. I'm a winner. The winner circle. Circle of winners.
Well, the circle of discipline didn't work for Jamal James last night because he got his ass smoked.
Man.
Like, wow, from the fourth round on, he wasn't in that fight at all.
Nope.
Like, he couldn't do nothing to keep that guy off of him. And it seemed to me like he was getting hit with the same shots over and over and over again.
Yep.
And, I'm not going to try to start any trouble, but if you listen to his post-fight interview, the first thing he said was inactivity. And we know that this has been a common refrain for the media, boxing media, when it came to PBC and the way that their fighters fight, that these guys take too long out of the ring and they're not sharpening their skills. Do we think Jamal James is going to be more active now, or do we think he's going to be on that same I'm only fighting once or twice a year shit?
Well, I don't know. I think that maybe they could try to do something for Jamal James in the next 4 or 5 months or so, if they
Hmm.
could bring him back and have a fight in Minnesota, because that was one of the things that people were talking about. Reference to this fight was that why couldn't they have him fighting in Minnesota here to defend this title.
Well,
um
remember, he was supposed to fight in Minnesota, and his co-feature was supposed to be Fundora versus Garcia.
mhm.
But then when Tyson Fury allegedly caught COVID, that sent the whole PBC schedule
Schedule.
into flux.
Yeah.
And he was one of the casualties of the schedule. So they ended up, I believe it was, oh God, who fought in that Minnesota card? It wasn't even a Minnesota fighter, but they moved a different card to Minnesota. They ended
Yeah.
up moving him later to Vegas, which in hindsight was a big mistake,
Yeah.
because if they would have kept him on that Minnesota card, maybe the WBA,
Oh, I get that. You like off and
because
on.
the fight would have already taken place.
Oh,
I'm
well.
sorry,
Oh,
no,
you think they
I'm
should have
on.
kept that date?
Yeah, they should have kept the date, because then the WBA would have been able to make those rulings that they made.
Yeah. Yeah. They kind of like forced their own hand by doing the stuff that they
Oh
did
man, you
there.
can't hear me?
So yeah. Like you were like off and on.
I apologize. Right now I'm in the air. I'm on I'm on the highway, like trying to cross over into
I
Manhattan,
feel you.
and it's
Hey,
like in the air.
I feel you, man.
Yeah.
But yeah, they kind of like had to do this whole thing, maneuvering these schedules. The whole thing with, like you said, with the thing for Fury Wilder. You also had like other fights that had to be rescheduled too. Fulton Figueroa rescheduled.
Hmm.
The Benavidez fight was rescheduled. You know.
Uh,
Um.
Yeah.
that
So yeah,
what happened with that fight with the EPO and Uskatagi, man, that's crazy.
yeah. That's kind of wild there with
Is
that.
anyone surprised though?
Mm,
You ain't
probably
cheating
not.
if you ain't trying.
I mean, hey, well, someone like said in the tweet, it was like, or yeah, in a tweet or a post or something, it's like, wait a minute, Katagi gets popped and he gets scratched from the car, but Oscar Valdez gets popped and he's still able to fight.
Yeah. Well, PBC. Listen, they learned from the Eric Morales mistake that they made years ago in the Danny Garcia fight. I don't think you're ever going to see them allow someone who popped for PEDs to have their fight go through.
Yeah.
But what's interesting, and this is why I always praise the WBC. Okay, Uzkatagi was not in the WBC rankings before, so he was not subject to the clean boxing program. But
Mm,
since they wanted to make that a title eliminator, they put him in the rankings. He was subject to the random drug testing, and
yeah.
they caught him. Remember, he used to fight solely for the IDF,
Yep.
which has no type of year-round random drug testing program. So shout out to the WBC once again for keeping the sport safe and clean. I know they're not always consistent,
For
but at
catching
least they are catching people and trying to do something with the sport.
for catching somebody who's an amateur at pharmaceutical engineering.
Hey, how we know he's an amateur? Because you got to understand something. When you fight for the IBF and you fight for the WBO, you're only getting tested fight night. You're not getting tested in the lead up to the fight,
Right. Yeah.
unless you're
So
fighting in, because Vegas has the random testing once you sign the contract.
yep.
So these
True.
guys theoretically could be doing they could be doing whatever the hell they want, but they can't do that with the WBC because the WBC has that free boxing program.
Let me
And
tell
I
you who's not
think,
an amateur.
huh?
Let me tell you who's not an amateur.
Say Canelo, please.
Well, Canelo, obviously, but that's like a given. But Manny Pacquiao.
Oh my God, yo, you love a P. Well, all right, be honest. Why do you think Manny Pacquiao was on PEDs?
Why do I think he was?
Yeah,
I think that the way he fought in his career, I don't know how many years ago when he was active, but there was a time in his career when he was fighting the likes of I would have to go to his box rec to see
Hassan 3K battery.
who.
Yeah,
Yeah,
exactly. Look
exactly.
up the
Look at
box
the
rec
box
and you'll
rec.
see what I
You'll see
mean.
what I mean. All I know is the way he fought was a lot different, energized, versus how he fight now. Yes, he's an older man, but his like his ability to get stronger and faster in his fights while going up different divisions is something that is unusual. I mean, you could say that he's not draining himself, but a smaller man who's getting bigger, also keeping speed and keeping and getting more powerful is just really strange. And then now when he is on a program that tests him at a certain frequency, all them knockouts that he used to get stop happening.
but was he really getting knockouts? We know Ricky Hatton, but who else did he knock out?
Man, I don't feel like looking at the man box rec. It ain't worth it that much to me.
Yeah, he was getting stoppages, but I don't remember him getting knockouts.
You said he was getting stops.
Stoppages could be from an accumulation of punishment.
Well, that's the same to me.
That's not
Like,
the same as knocking niggas out.
okay, it's different, but I'm saying he's getting stoppages. He's winning fight by TKOs versus not winning them by TKOs, and being close in fights
Hey, he could have
to.
stopped Keith Thurman if Keith Thurman wasn't such a gangster.
Mm.
Because Keith Thurman looked like he was ready to go when that body shot hit him. I don't know. I still don't know how he stayed on his feet. Because he looked like he was giving birth when Manny hit him to the body.
I mean, that's obviously his Achilles heel, which is why I don't think it would be so bad for Errol Spence to fight Keith Thurman if his game plan was just to go to the body,
Mhm.
because I think that would be a tough fight for Keith Thurman, for anybody that Keith Thurman fight who just solely sort of go to the body.
Yeah, but can Errol Spence handle that heat that Keith Thurman got?
I don't know. I know if he jab, he'll be more prone to. And Keith Thurman, his shots aren't straight; they're sort of looping. Which, if
Yeah.
you throw straight shots, you'll get to the point faster than him, and you'll land. Now, you do have to be wary of those shots because I mean, he could get you going out,
Yeah.
or he can land some. But I mean, if you hitting him before he hitting you, and then you are able to cover up like Errol Spence do. Way back when, I was favoring Keith Thurman, but now you see people's tendencies. I favor Errol Spence in
Yeah,
terms
like
of
Keith Thurman might knock his ollies.
is what.
I said Keith Thurman might knock his ollies.
Yeah, that's true. We don't know how that will respond. Yeah, I don't know at this point. This which is why it's interesting. I mean, outside of the people that he would be more prone to fight, and they obviously won't let him fight Ugas. So
Yeah, man.
yeah, man.
But let's get back to Boots.
Yeah.
What do we
Uh,
think is next for Boots at this point?
they won't put him up against Kudratio. So I mean that they're gonna have to do something. I mean, I know that they're trying to feature him there on Showtime. Um, I don't know, man. They might end up having them fighting like a Rashidi Ellis or freaking
No, I
Yeah, I
hope
know,
not.
but what else? But what else is out there for him? Like, are they gonna put him in there against like
Virgil Ortiz.
what? No, they ain't gonna do that. They ain't gonna do that at this point. They should,
Listen,
but they won't.
Oscar is coming home. I'm telling you.
If he does and he makes this fight, then props to him. But like I think I still think that they're trying to build that fight like as the next fight for 147.
That fight, if
But
they
but
build it,
his
it's not happening at 147.
yeah, and but that's the thing too is that right now the way the situation is, like one of these guys or both have to be in position for a world title fight
Yeah.
next year. There's like no other way around it because that where they're positioned at in these rankings, like they're gonna have to kind of like force it. So like in reference to the thing with Virgil Ortiz, what may end up happening is they might try to say something about the WBC because the WBO will be pretty much honored November 20th. So he'd have a whole year to wait on for that. But the
A whole year
WBC,
plus Josh Taylor.
yeah, plus Josh Taylor, exactly. So then you have the WBC route. And so would he try to, get something with the WBC route? Probably. And if you are kind of correct on this thing with Oscar, Virgil Ortiz versus Errol Spence in Texas.
Big money.
Yep, exactly. Because the thing with Errol Spence was either he would go up to 154 and try to get something in there with Castano, but the Castano fight against Charlo ended in a draw. So
Hmm.
that kind of like delays things for that plan. So why not try to get something where he goes up against Virgil Ortiz? You know?
Yeah. It seems like Errol Spence doesn't want to tune up.
Yep.
So
There
I'd
no
be interested to see
tune-ups.
who he fights. He should, honestly, he should fight Keith Thurman. That was a great shout out by Mike Grady. He really needs to fight Keith Thurman next.
Yeah, he does. You know, for for all it's worth, I think Keith Thurman is the biggest the biggest draw that he could get. And before you got on, we were talking about the possibility of Errol Spence fighting your Dennis Ugas, but the only thing with your Dennis Ugas is he has the belt. If he didn't have the belt, would he really be interested in fighting your Dennis Ugas? I don't know.
The area is closed.
You know, so
I think it
what Barcelona, you had something you were gonna add to that?
About what? What did you say?
The situation there with Errol Spence and Virgil Ortiz.
Nah, I think that fight's at least a year away, in my opinion.
Mm. I mean, I feel like it should be a year away too, but like I said, the situation with these rankings pretty much like have you know Errol Spence and Virgil Ortiz in the crunch. Like there isn't anything else for Virgil Ortiz to do at this point, um, other than like facing someone like a Errol Spence or yeah, maybe thing with Boots Ennis, but I really don't feel like they want to have that type of matchup happen next year, though.
Yeah, these guys are Virgil and Boots. They're ready to fight, but the other guys, the top guys, they still want to do their thing. They still want to unify and do all that other stuff. But it's becoming too late. People want to see these young guys get their shot.
Yeah, and the thing about it is that with in the case of Errol Spence and Terrence Crawford and Keith Thurman, like if they're not facing each other, then it's almost like what's the point for a lot of the boxing fans there? Because welterweight division is prime for having an undisputed champ. At this point. And, I know that there's been a couple of tough breaks as far as the schedule is for Errol Spence Jr., but after November 20th, we're going to see what's going to happen as far as like if they're going to make Spence Crawford or if it just, goes off by the wayside. Because I really think that there's a very small window for that fight to happen. if at all. So there's that. I know that Matt probably wanted to say something about Boots's first round washing of Thomas Delorme, but
No, I'm here. I'm here.
okay, I
I'm
wanted you
here.
to say something before I got into to this little report of what came out after the fight.
Yeah, he got his ass cooked, man. Like that was barbecue chicken alert. Like, and remember, I think I said last week, this fight is shit. You knew what this was, man. But shout out to Boots for delivering because that dude got blowed up, man. That was great to see. And now he's talking about, oh, I was hit with a legal shot. All right, calm down, buddy. Like no one wants to see a rematch. It's over. You got beat.
Yeah,
No one
you
cares
got
about Thomas Delorme.
you got beat. You were gonna get beat up. It was gonna
Exactly.
be a drubbing and
Yes. So
all
you
of that.
lost in round one instead of round two. What's the difference? You lost.
Yeah.
And nobody told you to duck your head. Remember, this is the same thing I said happened with Deontay Wilder in that second Fury fight in the third round. Yeah, he probably got hit on the back of the head, but nobody told you to duck your head. So either the referee can call an accidental foul and give you 5 minutes, or he could say, you know what, fuck you, you ducked your head, sorry, knockdown. And that's what the referee did last night. And I'm not mad at it. Don't duck your goddamn head.
Yeah, man. It is what it is. You got a bad break, and you're gonna have to deal with it. So,
Yeah, he
uh,
should be he should be happy he even got the goddamn fight. Who the fuck is Thomas Delorme? Shit. I hate ungrateful people, man.
Didn't Crawford fight him?
Huh?
Didn't who fought Thomas Delorme? Who else fought him?
Everybody. Crawford, James, Stanios's fight him too.
yeah,
But that was
yeah.
a close
Yeah.
Jamal
fight.
James, then Stanionis, then Boots.
Yeah.
Stanionis was a close fight though.
Because Stanionis stinks.
Yeah, probably.
What you call him? You said
Stankonia.
Eonis. Oh
Stankonia.
man, Stankonia. Oh my god. Oh god. Yeah. So yeah, Delumbi's had his run of going up against Jordanis Ugas too, and Terrence Crawford and Luis Carlos Abregu and all those guys, but like everybody knew that he was gonna get beat down by Boots, man. You know, it's just a lot of people have kind of like really bought into the Boots the Boots bandwagon or whatever it is, but
Yeah.
you know well with of course with me and a couple of other folks that I know, we kind of like seeing what Boots is you know capable of and stuff like that. So we don't really necessarily like kind of say, oh, this is too much or anything like that. Like we've seen firsthand what he could do. So I would like, been in the camps of Bootsy and this, being out there in the dungeon, Bosie's dungeon out there in Philadelphia. And, when you have like a team around him, like, his father is his trainer and his two brothers who, fought at a professional level, earlier, then it's pretty much like the sky's the limit. And we hear from various people saying like, this guy could be the next pay-per-view stars or something like that.
Yeah, where the fuck is Jamel? He should be out here celebrating.
Yeah, I'm trying to see if he would be getting on here or
Yeah, I'm
whatnot, man.
surprised. I
So
thought he was gonna be the first motherfucker to call in.
yeah, man. But yeah, he hadn't hit me up yet, but like maybe he'll come in at a later time if he can, but we'll see. But yeah, I mean, I just think it's just a matter of time. Like some people just say like he's just gonna be here for a couple more years, and that he has the potential to be as big as a middleweight and fight at middleweight. And I'm like,
I don't
well,
think anytime soon though.
Yeah, I don't think so either.
Because if you look at his career, he started basically at 140.
Yeah.
He's just a big kid,
Yep.
but the way his body is shaped, he makes 147 with no issue.
Mm-hmm.
And his dedication, always in the gym, he makes it with no issue. If I'm this guy, I'm staying at 147 as long as I can. Do what Errol Spence did. Errol Spence basically been there 9 years. See
Yep.
if you can get a nice little 10-year run at 147. That's the money division. Don't go to 154. The Charlos is drawing $200,000 at 154. Don't go to 154. You go to
Yep.
147, where that's the money, and
Yep.
you could be the man at 147.
Yep. It like, you would have like everybody that, is there now and those that want to come up to the division, they'll still
Exactly.
be available,
And
you
you can,
know?
and he always gonna be bigger than them 140 guys. He beat their ass. And them 154 guys, if they shrink down, he gonna beat their ass too. They're gonna be weight drained. 147 is perfect for him. The only guy that he needs to watch out for, and this is his true rival. It's not Crawford, it's not Spence Thurman, none of these dudes. The rival of Jaron Ennis is from Capitol Heights, Maryland. Okay? And his name is Gary Antoine Russell.
Yep. Yep.
That's gonna be his rival. You watch.
Yep. Because like, yeah, people are saying like Antoine is probably the baddest
Mm-hmm.
of the Russell clan,
Mm-hmm.
and he hasn't really like fully developed himself yet.
And his hair look nuts. So you know he crazy. That nigga hair look nuts, man. You know that boy, yo, this motherfucker look like old school Method Man with that haircut, man. He look nuts. So I ain't messing with that boy. And you know he got the wins over Boots in the amateurs. You know, listen, Boots, that's the work. Imagine Philly versus the DMV.
Yep.
Come on, man. You put that shit in New York, they can make some money off of that.
Yep. Yep. That's the thing, man. And we got to see that thing coming up there within the next couple years or so.
Mm-hmm.
That should be the fight, because yeah, like I said, I mean, I don't see anyone really at 147 right now that could really get to Boots at this point. I don't think Ortiz could do it.
Mm-mm.
I don't think that Crawford could do it. I don't think, yeah, I don't even think Spence could do it, because like, shoot, like Boots is like bigger than all those guys,
He is.
you know.
But I will
So
say, there's a couple matchups that will be very difficult for Boots, and I think they might get him. I think Spence might get him because Spence punched straight as an arrow.
hmm
Okay, so a couple of them shots that he got hit by Delorme gonna be a little different with Errol Spence. And the one other guy, Showtime Sean Porter, because you just never know how somebody gonna react when Sean Porter get all up in your shit. And we ain't never seen nobody get all up in Boots shit yet
yeah,
because he ain't fought nobody on that level.
right.
So we don't know how he gonna react if Porter get all up in his shit.
Yeah, you haven't like seen anybody like try to muck it up there,
Yeah.
against Boots.
Now maybe Virgil Ortiz could do that, but Virgil Ortiz get caught too easily.
Yeah,
He looked like he was, if Mean Machine was any type of finisher, he'd have got him out of there.
yeah,
Boots would have finished his ass. The way he got caught.
yeah. He was
You
getting
know.
caught a good amount of
Mm-hmm.
times there early in that fight.
Black punches with his face, man.
Yep.
Virgil Ortiz, he's a good kid. I love that kid. Exciting, strong, all that good stuff. But he ain't gonna be in the sport that long.
Yeah, not if he keeps getting hit like
Because
that.
he ain't that good, or because he get hit too much.
Cause he got hit too much. He gonna be a blood and guts warrior. He gonna take a lot of dudes out. He gonna take them out more than they take him out. Probably gonna be a world champion. Gonna be very, very strong. I love that kid. But that punishment accumulates. And one day you just lose it all of a sudden. He's gonna be one of those guys that he gonna be riding high. He gonna be undefeated champion, knocking niggas out, and then one day he gonna get stopped out of nowhere, and then it's gonna be over. He gonna start just getting beat. You know, it's gonna be like that for him, and hopefully that's not another 5 to 7 years, but it's gonna come because you can't take that many punches and moving up in weight too, because he a big kid and he
Yeah.
got discipline issues. So you know he gonna eat himself out at 147 before you know it. So 154, 160, they hit harder. You know, it's a bigger weight that they hitting. You know, so he gonna end up taking too much punishment. They're gonna get him out of there early. So, you know, more power to him. Make your money now, young blood, because this shit ain't for long.
Nope.
If they could extend Mungia's career, which they have, then I think he'll be okay for a few more years.
Bro, look how old Munguia is. Munguia is still like about 23, 24, 25, something like that. Munguia is still young. So you talking about, think about what you said. They extended his career. This motherfucker's still in his early to mid 20s.
Yep.
This shit ain't for long when you taking punches to the face.
Yep. And Mungia takes a lot of punches to the face
Yeah,
himself.
man. And he one of my favorites too. So don't ever think I'm ever gonna knock Munguia because I like a motherfucker that'll try to knock your dick string loose. He don't play. You know, I fucks with a dude like that. You can have all that sweet science, jab, 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 and faint shit. I want motherfuckers that's coming to knock your head off. And he one of those. You know, but he ain't gonna be around that long. He not.
Yeah, I mean he leaves himself open to hit, and
Mm-hmm.
that's why I'm like concerned about this fight. That he's gonna have against Gabe Rosado, man. Like, hey, if Gabe Rosado catches him with a good one, how is he gonna react to that?
Nah,
So,
he gonna
but
beat the
he should be able to get that.
brakes
Yeah,
off
he
of
should
Gabe
be able to do it.
Rosado.
Yeah, he should be able to, man.
He gonna beat the brakes off that boy.
But yeah, and what else we had, man? We had like another fight card, man. I don't know why you didn't make. Man, I slept on that top rank card, man. I
Yeah, I
slept
should have
on that
went out
one, man.
there, but you know
I
what? After hearing about what happened, it wasn't safe to go to that card anyway.
Yeah, man, it wasn't safe at all,
It
bro.
wasn't safe.
Like, what
It
is we
wasn't safe.
doing? Oh my god! Like, how you gonna have
What happened?
like so the main event you had Jose Cepeda against Josue Vargas. And leading into the fight, you had, Josue Vargas talking a whole lot of trash to Jose Cepeda and trying to, do a whole bunch of stuff to try to rile Cepeda up. Had like a version of the super lightweight title on the line in there. And then get to the main event. And then Josue Vargas gets caught with some good with a good shot, almost lands face first on canvas. He gets up and then pretty much Zepeda blitzes Vargas in the corner with the whole series of punches, and the fight gets stopped in the first round. So Zepeda ended up winning, and then come to find out later on in the night, Zepeda's entourage and crew gets jumped by Josue Vargas's crew after the fight, man. They jumped them. Like, what is going on out here? Like, come on, man.
Not only did they jumped him at the hotel.
Yeah. At the fight hotel over there in New
Ghetto,
York. I'm like,
ghetto.
man.
They need to send them boys back to the projects that they came from. Where the fuck they came from? That is unprofessional. Like you don't do that. You don't do that in New York City, of all places. You know that's just ghetto, man. And Vargas's whole team should be ashamed of their behavior. And if
Yep.
the commission had any teeth, the way they came down on Ivan Redkach for biting Danny Garcia's shoulder, even Top Rank, they gotta come down on this kid. They should withhold his purse. Like there should be criminal charges filed.
Right.
That ain't nothing about
Right.
no boxing.
Yeah, I mean that was almost like a whole like gang versus gang type thing or something going
Yeah, it's
on. You
ghetto,
know,
man.
I was like, good God, yo, he like they could have had like folks and was part of Zepeda's family, man. They could have been in great danger, man.
Exactly.
Like come on, yo. Like yes, that was like highly unprofessional and yeah, definitely Josue Vargas's crew, man. They might have to have some type of
Disgusted, man.
disciplinary action on
Yeah.
that. But Zepeda said like, yo, he wants to move forward. He's there at the WBC and he wants to be next for our guy there, man. But yeah, I don't think I don't think that's gonna end up happening for him, man. It's gonna he might just end up fighting for a vacant title
Hmm.
later next year because after Josh Taylor has his fight in February, he's most likely gonna fight Terrence Crawford, depending on what happens with Terrence Crawford in November, man.
Yeah. It's just crazy to me, man.
Yeah, that was just a whole wild situation because that what man, it could have been even worse. They could have did something pretty much immediately after the fight in the theater Madison Square
Yeah.
Garden. Like, yo, like what is y'all doing out here? You know what
Yep.
I'm saying? So it was just a bad situation now, man. But
Yeah.
but yeah, Zepeda's there with that win. They had what was it, the co-feature bout too, man. Uh Carlos Carballo versus Jonas Sultan. That
Yeah.
was
Yeah,
a
I
good
heard
little
about
scrap.
it. I ain't watch it yet.
Oh man.
I only saw
Well,
the highlights. He dropped him like 4 times.
dropped the kid 4 times. Like they had a whole lot of hype for Carlos Carballo, but
Yep.
Jonas Sultan just was catching him, with power shots, and Carballo was just not ready for him.
Yeah, I heard Caraballo was good. I heard he had good skills and good
Yeah,
power.
yeah, good skills, good power, but he really couldn't affect Sultan, man. Sultan was just like he just seemed like bigger and like stronger than Caraballo there in the ring. And so when it came to like being up close and in exchanges, like Sultan was able to rock him, and he just had a whole bunch of flash knockdowns for Carlos Caraballo, right? And
Hmm.
it was like three knockdowns to one knockdown, when favorite Jonas Sultan, they're going through 8 rounds, and then you seen Carabao get himself back into the fight in the sixth, seventh, and eighth round, get himself in the rhythm, and then in the ninth round, he got caught once again and pretty
and
much
then I
stopped
can
his
drop
whole
you very
momentum,
comfortable.
and that kind of
But
like
that
did
one
him
is
in. But then it went to the scorecards, and yeah, it was a unanimous decision win for Jonas Sultan, to give Carabao his first loss. But all three of the judges gave 6 rounds to Carlos Carabao. Six of the 10 rounds to Carlos Carabao. So if it wasn't for those knockdown rounds, you really couldn't find much of any round there for Jonas Sultan over the course of that fight. And me watching that fight, I was like, I couldn't really see 6 rounds for Carlos Caraballo. And on top of that, the round where there were two knockdowns, like Caraballo had been knocked down in the third and then in the fourth, and I think at the end of the fourth they scored a knockdown on Jonas Sultan, and it really didn't quite look like a knockdown, but they really didn't have anything for replays either. So that ended up being like a round that could be scored for anybody. And I think that particular round got scored for Carlos Caraballo, even with the knockdowns on both sides. So man, at least the overall scorecard did have the result of Jonas Sultan winning. But yeah, it almost seemed like Carl Bauer was gonna get the benefit of the doubt there. But props to Sultan. He moves to like 18-5. This is somebody that did have what was it? His win over
Casemiro.
Casemiro,
Yeah.
a while ago. So yeah, so props to him for scoring this win. I don't know, man, but something tells me that they might try to put him back in the ring there against Carvalho or something. You know what I
Yeah,
mean?
but why? You
Yeah,
can end up
that's what I'm
ruining
thinking.
this kid.
Yeah,
People gotta understand something. All these young prospects, they look good until they step up against a guy that could eat their power and still execute a game plan. And that's what Caraballo ran into. And he had no plan B for this guy. So what's gonna happen next time? Go back to the drawing board, man. He took a dip a toe in the water. He wasn't able to handle it. Pull back a little bit, rebuild his kid's confidence. Getting knocked down 4 times in the fight ain't no joke.
Yeah.
yeah.
And that's kind. It's not like Sultan's a heavy hitter,
Nope.
So it's like,
But it
uh,
was just like Carabao was just getting caught pretty much doing
yeah,
the same thing, every time it seemed like. So, oh man, so that was the
yeah.
thing,
He
man.
wasn't ready for prime time.
Yep, wasn't ready for prime time in that instance, man. So there's that,
Yeah.
man.
Oh, what about the
Um,
other guy? The guy that got beat by the that shorter fighter.
hold on, that was part of that card.
No, I mean it happened like a couple of months ago. I think it's called Gabriel something. Yeah, he's gonna they need it's gonna be a while for he gonna need to rebuild himself too. Gabriel, what's he called?
Was he on a top rate card or
Yeah, he was on a top ranked card and he lost to this guy that he out they that basically he was supposed to be able to beat the guy, but he got destroyed basically.
I had forgot like which joint that was, man. You said like it wasn't part of the Navarrete card, was it? It wasn't on that one, right?
Yeah, I think so. Yeah, I think it's Navarrete under Navarrete and Diaz.
Oh, that was a while ago. Navarrete Diaz.
No, not that one. Something else. Anyway, you remember that Gabriel kid? Gabriel, something. Gabriel. Basically, he was 20-0, and then he suffered his first loss against the Mexican guy.
Okay, let me see. Because the thing with Chris Diaz was like a while ago, and yeah, he wasn't part of that card. 'Cause shoot, yeah, I had to look that one up. Cause yeah, there's instances where like you have a guy that comes in like in this case comes in unbeaten and gets in a bad matchup, bad matchmaking, and just ends up getting caught and doesn't have anything where he's able to adjust or whatnot, and they end up losing the fight, and that just kind of like takes out their whole momentum and how they're getting built up. So maybe here in this case with Carlos Carvalho, man, yeah, they're gonna have to see how else they're gonna be able to match him up to try to build up his record once again. But as far as
Yeah.
like a thing as far as like having a rematch,
Nah,
I don't think they want to do that.
he
Don't want
needs to.
to do that.
They need to find a way to. He needs to find a way to. I don't know how I say this. I guess kind of get over it a little bit quick because he's like 25 and he needs to get some more fights in so he can rebuild his confidence. Like I guess the only person that can really do that right now that's really really building up steam is Navarrete. Navarrete is the only guy that's really fighting a lot. He's the only guy that's really doing what the old fighters would do, fighting a whole bunch and winning.
Yeah, like five times a year, man. Fighting 5 times a year. That kind of like does it for him.
Yep.
Where he's able to build himself up and get skills along the way.
He's super
Um,
relevant right now. They trying to put him in there with Valdez.
yep. And I guess Bob Arum has suggested that they want to have they could put that fight together and then have Stevenson have his defense of the WBO title against Miguel Burchelt, the former WBC champ.
Oh, that'd be nice. I wouldn't mind him fighting Burchelt. That'd be good. But I think Burchelt should move up to 135. Like seven's moving up. Seven farmers moving up to 135. I think Burchelt should also follow suit. Go up there.
Yeah, yeah, I think so too. Because right now, him in 130 against the Stevenson, yeah, he might get washed again. They can't afford another loss there, especially if it's a stoppage. Do we have the ghost of Mike Grady, or is this the real Mike Grady? What's going on over here?
Boo.
Oh man, yeah. I think he had like a little bit of a technical thing going on with it, but I don't know, man. I guess this is what Halloween. We have like some type of you know paranormal stuff going on around here. But man, Matt, it's fight week, man. It's Canelo fight week. It's El Campeon, man. It's Saul Canelo Alvarez versus Caleb-Plant, man. Uh let me see, like, I don't know what I think people are saying that Caleb-Plant's gonna get stopped. It just depends on like what round he's gonna get stopped or whatever it is, man.
It might it may go to full distance. I'm not sure. He may get stopped. It's very well that he may really get stopped because I think I don't know. I think Canelo. I think they said he has gas tank problems. Like he might start fast all the way up, all the way to the middle, and I think Canelo's going to probably pour it on, and then he's probably going to stop him late, maybe.
Yeah, I mean it. For me, I think with Caleb-Plant, like his best thing is to try to stretch out this fight as long as he can and control the distance and have Canelo Alvarez reset and not get caught in a trap there against Canelo because if he gets within range and then tries to throw a shot and gets hit with the counter upstairs into the body, man, that might be a real problem for him.
It might be, but it might be a real problem for Canelo to get past that jab and get past that lateral movement.
That would be my thing is like how is his mobility to try to get to Caleb-Plant, especially someone there that's like 6'1", has the length that he does, and tries to get try to get Canelo to reset or something like that. Because I don't think that Caleb-Plant would try to do anything to like keep himself in the pocket long enough for
Yeah,
Canelo to touch him up with a couple shots, like a 2, 3, or 4 punch combination. Like if he allows that to happen, then that's going to be bad news for him.
hey, Caleb-Plant might show why Canelo wasn't really interested in fighting Demetrius Andrade at 154.
That could be a possibility there too, because he could give some type of unorthodox type of movements
Yeah,
that could really confuse Canelo for a good amount of the fight.
the one thing I do worry about is Caleb-Plant seems very susceptible to hooks, so he got to be careful. But what Caleb-Plant does well is stuff that Canelo has issues with also. That's why I think this fight is a lot more interesting than people think. And when this fight got announced, I said that PBC has stumbled into another trilogy. And I think that's what we're going to see here. I think you're going to see Caleb-Plant pull off the monumental upset and defeat Canelo by split or unanimous decision on Saturday.
Man,
Right.
yeah,
I think
go ahead, Mike.
that would be a nice fairy tale ending. However, the things that Caleb-Plant do wrong are the things that
Canelo do well.
Canelo
Yeah,
is looking to take advantage of, which we saw a
Absolutely.
glimpse. We saw a glimpse of it in the press conference. You're laughing, but at first I was being hopeful. You know, something I'm starting to realize. Take my emotions out of it. I was sort of emotional in the Deontay Wilder fight. Granted, now the fight happened how I thought it was. Deontay Wilder caught Tyson Fury, and then he had his moment to win the fight. But as long as it went, we sort of knew that he wasn't gonna win a boxing match and then his win. I'm saying all that to say, did somebody play some crickets?
Nah, man. Yo, I'm in New York City, bro. Just talk, man. Stop making me look bad, man. Try to be professional. You know, I'm in the city. It's Halloween night. The freaks come out at night. You know, I'm just
Okay,
walking past these bitches that's dressed up like Harry Potter, and the ass cheeks is out. We got traffic everywhere. The city stinks. It's New York, baby.
gotta love it, gotta love it. Yeah, I just think that when Caleb Plant throws his jab, he always is on his front foot, which means that his ability to make that second maneuver is hindered. And so it's very similar to that press conference where he threw his swing and slap, but his weight was on his front foot, which is why Canelo was able to just literally just step in and then whop whop. I think unfortunately that's gonna happen all night, and we either gonna see Caleb Plant do a superhuman display of being able to take punishment and walk through, and he hopefully catch Canelo with something that drops Canelo, but Canelo gonna be on him, and I don't think what he does or how he does it is conducive to him keeping Canelo off of him because he's not able to make that second move because he always be on his front foot, and then when he's not able to make that second move, he not gonna make Canelo pay. So Canelo gonna get in, throw his shots, and then Plant might cover up, but that's gonna be the fight the majority of the time unless Plant put his weight on his back foot when he jabbed, which he hadn't done thus far. He be on his front foot, which does not bode well for him.
Well,
Well,
I gotta
I
see if
want to
he's gonna be able
be able
to like make a
like
statement early in the
early in
fight
the fight.
so that at least the thing with Canelo would have something that he has to watch out for. But if Caleb Plant doesn't send a message to Canelo early, then I just feel like it's going to be a long night for Caleb Plant. Like you're saying, a lot of the times he wants to go ahead and step in with a jab with his front foot, but he's going to have to learn how to box well, going off his back foot, watching what Canelo's going to do, seeing if he get a 1-2 combination as a counter, and then get himself out of the line of vision of Canelo. That way he'll be able to score points on him.
Yeah.
But I think this is almost similar to like going up against Billy Joe Saunders, where Billy Joe Saunders, had like a little bit of success at times, but once Canelo just said, you know what, I'm gonna go forward, I'm gonna come, come right at Billy Joe Saunders and just hit him with the biggest shot. And I just feel like, he's not gonna be able to take it, and that's what ended up happening with Billy Joe Saunders.
Yeah, but that
I
was
see
the
the
eighth
same thing.
round. That was the eighth round.
Yeah.
So if Caleb Plant is able to build up a lead and say like he gets like 5 of the first 6 rounds or 6 of the first 7 rounds, you telling me that Caleb Plant is not capable of getting on his bike to finish that fight on his feet? Canelo ain't superhuman, you know. Caleb
Well,
Plant is more than capable of doing that.
he got to win the 6 rounds first. Canelo's gonna be able to counter him. Canelo's a
Canelo is a very slow starter. He's always been a
but
slow starter.
even with a slow starter, he can still counter you.
How long did it take him to catch up to Kovalev? How long did that take?
about 6 or 7 rounds.
Yeah, man, he's always a slow starter.
Kovalev is a different animal than Caleb Plant, though.
Canelo-Plant is better than Kovalev. What are you talking about?
Caleb Plant has better skills, but Kovalev's jab is better than Caleb Plant.
Kovalev's jab is a power jab, but it's a slow jab and it's a predictable jab. And
But he
the
kept
fact
Canelo
that
off of him until 6 rounds.
yeah, and that should tell you something. The fact that Canelo wasn't able to get that big ass head out of the way of Kovalev's slow ass jab, that should tell you that Caleb Plant might have a lot of success with the jab. That's what that tells me. That's not telling me, oh, it was the power. No, that jab shouldn't have been connecting because Canelo is a lot smaller and Canelo's a lot quicker than Kovalev. So
But
why the hell was Kovalev able to jab Canelo's head off for like the first 6 rounds?
wasn't that like his first fight at 175 though?
But what does that have to do with speed? A punch is a punch. A punch is a punch is a punch. You can dodge a punch with your head. You know, at the end of the day, you know, we laud Canelo. All praise Canelo. Canelo, one of my favorite fighters in the whole fucking world. But he is not unbeatable.
I
He's
know.
always been susceptible to the jab. He's always been susceptible to lateral movement. And he hasn't fought anyone with that combination basically since Aris Landy Lara. We can't even say Billy Joe has that combination because Billy Joe's best days was at 160.
Yeah.
And when he got caught on that shit, he came back as a cruiserweight and never went back to 160 again, and it's looked like shit since then. So we don't know what Canelo looks like against a true top 168 pounder. Callum Smith is at 175 now because he was killing himself to make weight. Billy Joe was never a good boxer above 160, and he had to cheat to make 160. So how good was Billy Joe? But we know Caleb Plant in the gym.
Oh man, he
really-
he was getting in it too.
Yep.
God, dog, man.
Yeah.
Like he was, man. Matt was cooking. He was
Yeah.
cooking.
Okay.
He was
Matt-
cooking.
Matt was in it, but he don't want to hear the truth that Caleb Plant be on his front foot most of the time, which to me means he will not be able to maneuver and float around the ring like he would need to stay away from Canelo's counters. If he was more had his weight more on his back foot to where he could do all the things that Lara does and slip and slip at the waist and do all that other stuff. But the reason why he get caught so clean at times, against slower fighters is because he be on his front foot and he has speed in terms of like agility, but he gets caught so much because of the fact that he has his weight on his front foot.
And he relies too much on this bladed stance.
On the what?
Bladed. When he was fighting Caleb Truax, he was in the bladed stance a lot, and he wasn't moving for some reason, and that allowed Caleb Truax to hit him a lot.
Tell me what's the bladed stance?
It's like when you're like, it's like where you it's kind of like the Philly shell.
Oh, well, he flat sort of like
Yeah.
Yep.
Flat target. Gotcha.
Yeah, like flat-footed, pretty much. So he'll move around, but he's still like flat-footed
Yeah,
as
he
far
can
as like
be
his
flat.
movement
He
is.
can be flat too. Like that Caleb Truax fight, there's no reason Caleb should have been able to hit Plant that much. And he was hitting them with the same punch too, a lot.
Yeah, and that's and I'm sure that Canelo kind of like saw that because he talks about watching film and looking at the mannerisms of a killer playing what he does. Like I'm sure that fight was pretty much like on the front of what he was looking at as far as like openings for Caleb Plant and seeing if he could exploit them. So that's the thing about it is that even with the length that Caleb Plant has, he's got to have good enough movement to where he can get himself out of the pocket or out of the line of vision of Canelo. And if he can't do that and still ends up getting touched by Canelo, then he's going to be in some real issues there. come
So
Saturday night.
unfortunately, the undercard is very very bad. So if you're
Oh
gonna
my
you
God.
buy the card, just wait for the main event. There's no point in buying the card and watching the undercard.
Man, I don't know, man. To be honest, I'll probably be at a bar somewhere, man, and watch the fight or something like that, maybe. So,
Yeah,
so that's the
So
thing.
you would buy the card and only watch it at the end, even though
yeah.
you pay like $80 for it.
I mean, yeah. When the guys that are on the undercard aren't worth watching, at least not yet in their careers.
I
I got
mean, like you have the thing where they, set it up to you got Elvis Rodriguez that's going to be part of it. Ray Vargas is coming back from injury.
Oh my god.
Previous
Isn't there?
you
I heard that Ray Vargas is the most boring Mexican fighter out there.
uh yeah, they got Ronald Ellis that's going to be part of this card. They got Anthony Durrell, who I spoke
Make
with a few, what was it's been almost like about a month or so back. He's fighting in this card too. But yeah, this what 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, an 8 fight card in total here for
oh,
this. But thing about it is like the discussion around this particular card was that with them using $50 million of the budget for the main event, it was like what else did they have
yeah,
left to spread around?
yeah.
So
Canelo needs to stop asking for these huge numbers for
yeah,
money, so
yeah.
so the undercard could be good. But hey, is that role is really? It looks like Rolly's not going to be fighting at all. So
Oh well, yeah. On that, I know that like someone like kind of brought that up in reference to Rolly Romero. Um, I mean, it looks like it's leaning towards him not being put in that card to headline. Um, the fight against Gavante Tank Davis. So
what
with
happened.
that being said,
uh,
well, it's the whole thing with the allegations that are coming out as far as like his for like sexual misconduct or something like that. But um, I really don't think that you know I didn't know that it would be that serious about it. You know what I mean?
yeah,
Um, because thing
What is
about it
sexual
is,
misconduct? What does that actually mean?
as far as like being sexually vulgar towards various women, you know, um,
So he getting canceled.
yeah,
yeah,
basically,
it seems like it. Yeah, due to the sex, so it's kind of like the whole thing with Deshaun Watson in the NFL, pretty much right now.
yeah.
You know,
And what we don't know what's gonna happen. He gonna go to trial or something?
but the thing is, like, he wouldn't be like they would have to bring up charges like real quick,
I think
And the
girl
thing
the
about
girl
it
pressed
is,
charge. I think she pressed charges yesterday.
oh, yesterday, oh,
Yeah,
okay, well, if they press charges yesterday, then they're gonna, try to go after Rolly Romero, get that warrant, that warrant issued, and then try to get him for an arrest. But in some cases, some people might say like this is strange that you would have something like this for Rolly Romero
N- n-
when Tank should have a pending case open still.
yeah, yeah.
You know.
But that's been happening a lot. Some guy gets in a powerful position, and then this lady comes out of nowhere and says she did that to him. He did something to her. I think it even happened to this one guy. What was that? The Brian Kavanaugh guy, and then they had to go do the hearings and stuff, and it was all on TV.
Oh, the thing for the judge, that
Yeah,
judge,
yeah,
whatever it was. Yeah,
yeah.
yeah.
It seems like every time these guys get something good going on, it's when these ladies come out.
I mean that's kind of like a touchy subject because those are the guilty should be prosecuted to the fullest extent of the law.
Yeah,
It's just that in this particular system, a lot of things are reactionary, and the thing about it is that if they actually did it, then y'all should go after them sooner rather than later. In one instance, but in the other side too is that some of these people have so much power at a certain time that
Uh-huh.
they could hide a whole lot of stuff until it's just about the right time. So that's kind of like how it is in some cases. But here with Rolly Romero, it's like, hey, um, he's gonna have to, end up dealing with it. But depending on how whatever his status is overall, could kind of like keep him relevant as far as like being in this fight against Gervonta Tank Davis. But if not, then it's most likely going to be Isaac Cruz Gonzalez as the opponent for Gervonta Tank Davis. As initially when Tank had his win over Mario Barrios in June, and they were planning on having another pay-per-view fight for him this year, I pretty much like had Isaac Cruz Gonzalez as one of his potential opponents that
Yep.
he'd fight next. So when they said Rolly Romero, that kind of like threw me for a loop a little bit. So, but would still end up could be in Isaac Cruz Gonzalez. There for that December 5th event on pay-per-view. And even with that pay-per-view, it seems like they're kind of like really investing in filling up those tank cards too. Cause I mean the last one was, pretty good card, and now this one they're having few, it's like they're trying to line up a few good fights for it. So
What fights?
well, I think they're gonna have the thing with Luis Ortiz is gonna be involved in it.
Okay.
I think there was like another thing that was going to be a co-feature bout to it. But I gotta see like what that was going to be. But usually they have like really good cards for Gervonta Tank Davis fights. So I'm kind of like looking towards that here when it comes up or when it gets closer to coming up there. So that's what I'm looking out for in this instance there, man. But that's mainly what I had going on. I know that there was some suggestion about Eddie Hearn or something like that, saying that maybe
Devin Haney.
Haney would be available. I'm saying there's too much. There would be too much money to put up for it, because Devin Haney like brings in like a lot of money for his purses just to fight Jorge Linares or anybody like that. So if you're thinking about fighting Tank Davis, that's more of like having 3 or 4 million. Don't be surprised; it would be up to 3 or 4 million for those guys. And that's not,
probably why they don't want to fight him right now, because they don't draw enough money.
Yeah, they don't. And these guys, these guys' price tags are too high at this particular point for a fight of that magnitude to happen. So they're gonna have to hold off on that one. If it was going to be Tank Davis and Devin Haney there at 135 pounds. So that's out of the question right there. So as far as I got, that's pretty much really what I could do for this version of the Boxing Source radio show. It's about a little bit over 2 hours with this one. There's a couple of other events that did happen that we're probably gonna cover at a later time. But as for right now, this kind of like wraps it up. Thank everyone for being a part of this particular podcast. Shout out to Cobia, Soldier Breedy, and Coach Floyd Seymour for joining us earlier in the podcast. And shout out to Boxing Learner, Mike Grady, and Matt Brown from Most Valid Opinion for joining in. Definitely enjoyed this particular episode. And like I say, at the end of every show, point of boxing is to hit and not get hit, not to send and trade. On that note, folks, I'm out. Have a good evening, everybody.